4. Today I shall be talking about Patriot Games by Tom Clancy, and I'm going to start by reading to you. With 4 police constables around him, Sean Miller was as surely restrained as a wolf in a cage, and he looked at Ryan as a wolf might from behind the bars without recognition of his humanity. He was a predator looking at a thing and wondering how he might reach it. The suit and the tie were camouflage, as had been his earlier smile at his friends in the gallery. He wasn't thinking about them now. He wasn't thinking about what the court would decide. He wasn't thinking about prison, Jack knew. He was thinking only about something named Ryan, something he could see just out of his reach. In the witness box, Jack's right hand flexed in his lap as though to grasp the pistol which lay in sight on the evidence table a few feet away. Let's talk about Patriot Games. The main character is Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan is an ex-US Marine. He is a former Wall Street trader. He is currently a history teacher at the United States Naval Academy, and he is an occasional consultant to the CIA. The story starts with Jack Ryan visiting London with his pregnant wife Kathy and his 8-year-old daughter Sally. Outside Buckingham Palace, Ryan witnesses an attack on the Prince and Princess of Wales, and he suspects the gunmen, the 2 masked gunmen, are members of the IRA, and feeling he has no choice, he intervenes. He thwarts the attack, he kills one of the terrorists, and he injures the other one, and he too is injured. He is shot in his right shoulder and taken to hospital, where he regains consciousness the following day. Having proved to Special Branch that he is who he says he is, Jack Ryan is informed that the attackers were not from the IRA, as he suspected, but that they were in fact from the ULA, an ultra-left-wing breakaway group from the IRA, and he is visited by the Queen, who wishes to express her thanks, and he also meets the Prince of Wales, who is a broken man despite having survived the attack. Ryan attends court to give evidence against the remaining terrorist, whose name is Sean Miller, and despite Miller's attempts to intimidate him, and despite Miller's expert legal defence, Jack Ryan gives evidence successfully, and Sean Miller is sentenced to life imprisonment. Ryan and his family return to their home in Maryland, USA, and Jack is offered a chance to go and work full-time for the CIA, but he initially refuses. Ryan is disturbed to find that Miller has been sprung from prison, but he is reassured by friend and Special Agent Dan Murray that neither the IRA nor any of its splinter groups would carry out an attack on US soil. Having first travelled to Libya to keep a low profile, Sean Miller then goes to the United States, where he meets with his friend Alex Dobbins, and they plot their revenge against the Ryan family. Alex Dobbins is a member of a homegrown terrorist group called the People's Movement, whose left-wing ideology is compatible with that of the ULA. They send someone to kill Jack Ryan outside his workplace, the United States Naval Academy, and the attack is foiled easily, but Dobbins and Miller launch an attack on Kathy and Sally Ryan on an Annapolis freeway, forcing their car off the road. And although Kathy's injuries are only minor and her unborn child is absolutely fine, Sally Ryan is severely injured and is airlifted to a leading Maryland medical centre for urgent treatment. After an 8-hour period of uncertainty, Sally's surgeon, Barry Shapiro, announces that she will survive. Sally comes home and Jack Ryan decides that he will accept the offer to come and work for the CIA, albeit on a part-time basis, hoping that this will allow him to find out more about the ULA. Several weeks later, the Prince and Princess of Wales are in the US on a state visit, and Jack and Sally Ryan invite them to dinner at their house, which is near the Chesapeake Bay, and the Ryans also invite their friends Robbie and Sissy Jackson. Of course, none of them know that Sean Miller and Alex Dobbins have planned yet another attack. Alex Dobbins, along with 3 other armed accomplices, they kill most of the armed personnel outside the Ryan family house. This allows Sean Miller to enter the building, along with 3 armed, masked accomplices. They take everybody hostage except for Robbie Jackson. Robbie Jackson had excused himself just moments before Miller arrived, and then Miller temporarily leaves the house to go and talk with his men on the outside, and in this time Robbie Jackson finds Jack Ryan's shotgun and he kills 2 of the terrorists, and Jack Ryan and the Prince of Wales overpower the final terrorist, and they force him to reveal the escape plans, and it turns out the terrorists plan to escape using 2 cabin cruiser fishing boats, and Jack and Robbie steal one of these boats. They get everybody to safety at the nearby US Naval Academy. Miller, having killed Dobbins himself, tries to escape to sea with 3 other terrorists, but he is captured by local police, having boarded a container vessel. And Jack Ryan is there. He's armed, but he resists the urge to kill Sean Miller. And he is then informed that Kathy Ryan has gone into labour, so he rushes to the Naval Academy Hospital just in time to accompany Kathy as she gives birth to John Patrick Ryan Jr. And of course, he appoints both Robbie and Sissy Jackson and the Prince and Princess of Wales as joint godparents to his son. Now, recently, someone in the press described the late Tom Clancy as being a forerunner to Lee Child and the Jack Ryan series. Having read both, I can only say that I do not agree with this. I really don't see any similarity other than the fact that both characters are called Jack. As I see it, there are 3 main differences. First of all, we have to accept that Jack Reacher does appeal to our inner child, pardon the pun, whereas Tom Clancy treats his readers very much like grown-ups, and I think he credits us with a bit more intelligence too. Then there is the fact that Jack Ryan is a settled family man, whereas Jack Ryan is a unashamedly promiscuous wanderer. Then, of course, there is the fact that Jack Reacher is a vigilante, whereas Tom Clancy wholly rejects the idea that every hero needs to be a bit of a villain. In fact, there is a chapter close to the end of Patriot Games where Jack Ryan has a clear chance to kill Sean Miller, but instead he does the right thing and hands him over to the authorities, whereas had that been Jack Reacher, I'm sure he would have just shot him dead and perhaps been glamorised for doing so. I like the way that the British are represented in Patriot Games. Often in American popular culture, the British are portrayed as foppish, clumsy, stuffy, pompous, eccentric, think Hugh Grant, but not here, thankfully. In London, Jack Ryan meets several members of the Secret Service. He meets several senior policemen, he meets retired British soldiers, and they are all portrayed intelligently and respectfully. He also meets the Queen, and Jack Ryan and the Queen show great respect for each other. Something that caught my eye when I reread Patriot Games for the making of this video was the court case. I noticed that in the Old Bailey, Sean Miller is defended by a politically motivated defence lawyer called Charles Atkinson. And Charles Atkinson, we learn, has been nicknamed by his contemporaries and his peers as Red Charlie on account of his penchant for radical causes and radical crimes. Now, in the past, the late Tom Clancy has been accused of being something of a right-wing propagandist, make of that whatever you will, and I must say that, apart from Red Charlie, I see very, very little evidence of this. I should also say that this colourful character is one of very few decorative touches in the book as well. Now, speaking of the court case, I must say I enjoyed this part of the story a lot, for not only does Jack Ryan have to contend with Red Charlie's antics, as Red Charlie tries to tie him in knots, he has to deal with psychological intimidation from Sean Miller, and there is the fact that he hasn't been completely open to the court about his involvement with the CIA. All of this combines to create a pressure cooker environment for him, and it's a pleasure to see how he handles it. I was quite moved by the chapter in which a hospitalised Jack Ryan is visited by the Prince of Wales. Jack Ryan notices that the Prince is withdrawn and depressed, and he encourages him to open up. And the Prince of Wales reveals that his confidence has gone as a result of being so helpless in the recent attack on the Mall, the fact that he felt hopeless on the day. And of course, Jack Ryan, in a true act of friendship, says just the right thing to reassure him that he has nothing to be ashamed of. I must mention the vehicle ambush on Jack's wife and child. We aren't spared any details when the doctor informs Jack Ryan of his daughter's injury, so just be warned, it is upsetting and it may catch you off guard. There's lots more, of course, but I can say with confidence that you will enjoy this very gripping and very grown-up thriller, but don't expect a Reacher-esque tough guy novel, for it really is nothing like that. I'm going to finish things off now by reading to you, and we're going to spend some time with Barry Shapiro, who is the doctor who performs life-saving surgery on Sally Ryan. At this point in the story, we are in the aftermath of the car crash. After a lengthy battle, Sally is stable, and the doctor, that Shapiro, goes for a cigarette break on the rooftop of the University of Maryland Medical Center. From there, he catches a glimpse of the house that once belonged to the horror writer Edgar Allan Poe. It is a true fact that if you visit this particular hospital in Baltimore, you can actually look north and see the Poe house. It is visible from there. Now, the doctor, Shapiro, takes great offence at this. This is a man who has dedicated his life to saving the lives of others, yet here he is, forced to look at a house that belongs to a man who celebrated death and who was a master of the macabre. Let's see how he deals with it. It seemed to the surgeon that everything about Poe was dark and twisted, always expecting the inevitability of death, violent, untimely death, Shapiro's own very personal enemy. He had come to think of Poe as the embodiment of that enemy, sometimes beaten, sometimes not. It was something he had not talked about to the staff psychiatrist, who also kept a close eye on the hospital staff, but not now. Alone, he looked north to the Poe house. "You son of a bitch," he whispered to himself, to Poe, and to no one. "You son of a bitch. Not this time. You don't get this one. This little girl goes home." He flicked the cigarette away and watched the point of orange light fall all the way to the shining empty street. He turned back to the stairs. It was time to get some sleep. I don't think anyone could argue that that is excellently written. See you next time, guys. Bye for now.